So, started the recording. I'm gonna start in 3.
Hold on.
Get it all out. Get it all out right now.
Testing.
This is great.
Witcher 3. Witcher 3.
Stop it, man. That's loud.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Let's go.
3, 2. Oh, sorry. Okay, 3, 2, 1. I'm gonna start the song on the stream.
1, you must be heard. 2, you must be understood. 3. Now remember. Now let's look once more.
Are we live?
Yeah, go for it.
Yes.
Okay. I heard the streams on it. Anyway, welcome everyone. I'm so sorry. The podcast is now online. We've just been trying to do this pretty much all day.
God.
Before I start anything, I just want you guys to know that we've recorded 12 total minutes of 50 minutes worth of conversation, and we just had to throw it all out because it wasn't captured.
Yep.
So you've been fighting with this all day.
Can I just say it's been really hard? It was really hard to hold my composure. I've been staring at this fat Yoshi for the past minute, and I can't handle it. Sorry. All right, we're good.
All right, yeah. So welcome everyone. As I said, the podcast is now online. My name is Beth. I am your host. This is our inaugural episode, and here we talk about pop culture with a heavy gaming slant, a little news, little perspective, and plenty of hot takes. Joining me today, we have our amazing cast. I'm going to try to not butcher the intros like I did the first time. Firstly, we have JP, tech guru, communication specialist, and the man in the cloud. How are you doing, JP?
I'd like to think that I've earned the shit out of Tech Guru for the past 24 hours.
Yeah, no, you've been troubleshooting like no one ever has.
Gotta fix them all.
Next, we have resident programmer and FPS legend Juan. How are you doing?
What's up, man? We're doing all right. Playing games, living another day, just like we always usually do.
Yeah, we are. And last but never least, we have the... I forgot what he wanted me to say for him.
I'm the man with the plan, the one with the piping hot takes coming right out the oven.
Wow.
My name's Nathan, and I'm here, and I'm glad to be with these 3 beautiful individuals. How are you guys doing tonight?
We should just have him do his own intro for the like that. All the time.
He's good.
Yeah.
He's fine. So that's everybody joining us, and what better timing for our first show? Our main topic tonight, Riot Games, already a giant in esports, are currently in the midst of their effort to dominate what seems to be every genre and beyond. But before we get to that, I do want to do a little bit of catch up. Guys, what are you doing? What are you playing? What are you watching? What have you been keeping yourself occupied with this past week or so?
Start with JP.
I'm playing lots of League, more specifically URF, because I'm 13 years old and I like when flashy things happen on the screen. I just can't help myself, and I've been spamming the shit out of that mode. I also started Yakuza 0, so I will be making my transition into the Yakuza soon after I finish that game. I've heard that's the rite of passage after killing a man. Anyway, Juan.
What?
Juan.
So I've been taking a little different route. I've been playing some Persona 5. Uh, this is actually something that I thought I wouldn't do ever again because,
Fair.
as y'all know, I uh, I played Kamoshida's Palace on hard, and I didn't know I had to manually save every time, and I never saved. And then power outage, PS4 came down. Tried to boot up P5 again, and it was like I never even played the game. You know what I mean? So that took a toll on me. A year later, decided to shoot the shit, and I decided to go back on it. Kind of proud, but I decided to go easy, easy difficulty this time.
As long as you do
Other than
it.
that, I've been playing some Mortal Kombat. I've been dabbling in some Warzone. I've been thinking about going back to Rainbow Six Siege, um, especially with the new updates coming up and stuff, with the new operators and whatnot. And also, I've been touching some Smash Ultimate. So yeah, that's pretty much it on my list.
Okay, Nate.
All right. Well, just like our resident tech guru here, I've been playing a lot of League, but instead of playing Earth, I've been on a ranked grind. I'm currently in Silver 4. After taking 2 years, away from the game, I've come back and gone re-addicted again. But it's a brand new game, and all my skills from back then aren't transferring so well now. But I'm working on it. I really am. It's a quick grind. Other than that, I've been playing some. I'm trying to get into Final Fantasy 14. Um, as well as continue my grind to Monster Hunter. I'm currently trying to get Master Rank 999. It's quite a bit of a grind, and I'm really not happy about it, but, you know, it's whatever. I have a lot of fun with the game. Other than that, I'm excited for PSO2 coming out soon, as well as Xenoblade Chronicles.
Oh God.
I might get back into playing the Final Fantasy games again. Other than that, I've just been here, chilling with the homies, and having a great time.
That
Yeah,
that game is gonna fucking destroy me when it comes out. Like you'll never
it
see
is.
my ass ever again.
Oh, I'm going right there with you, buddy. I swear to God, I am.
Um, I personally can't say I've been playing anything other than a whole lot of Legends of Runeterra. I'm just in bed playing that. I think I am at Plat 4. I have finished leveling up the entire Bilgewater path. I got the cute little card back, and yeah, I've just been devoting any and all free time that I have to play games to just Runeterra. But I am actually excited for Dead by Daylight is going to be having like a 4-year anniversary stream, and they're going to be showing the new killer. I'm like really excited about that. So hopefully I can start picking that back up again. But it's going to have to compete with lore because I do not think that game was going to hook me as bad as Hearthstone hooked me. And I'm super glad that it's like a solid replacement for a game that also took a lot of my free time, especially it's like the perfect shot. Like if you're anywhere, um, just waiting for anything to happen, just start playing, um, you know, Legends of Runeterra, and it's time passes immediately. It was TFT for a little bit, but I stopped playing TFT. I like it. I just cannot pull myself away from lore. But yeah, that's pretty much all I've been doing. But yeah, so I didn't want to shift the conversation to our first segment. I wanted to talk about a few weeks ago, Microsoft did an Inside Xbox presentation. It happened, I want to say 3 weeks ago. The showcase took a bit of flack for not showing a ton of gameplay, despite what they said they were going to show. Um, and it's rightfully so. I can't say I saw too much that wasn't either just a cutscene or something that was like really choreographed. Um, so I did want to run through a bit of what they showed. They started off on a pretty high note. This was actually sent to me before I realized that Xbox um, was doing a gameplay reveal. They showed a game called Bright Memory Infinite. It was developed by one person, I think. in uh, FYQD Studio, if I'm getting that correctly. It's like a high-tech, fast-paced action shooter. It looks like Crisis 3 had a baby with Titanfall and then threw a DeLorean in there. I have like literally no idea what's going on, but I'm really excited for it.
Yeah, same.
I gotta agree. It looks really nice. I'm really interested to see how it is going to play out because if I remember correctly, I think the creator is about to, or I think released like a Bright Memory game, Chapter 1. And from what I'm understanding, he's actually just going to redo the entire story and keep the gameplay. So I'm excited to see what that entails.
Yeah, I just want to know what the hell that guy was doing with a shield while getting fucking demolished by the main character's shotgun. Like, what? Are we time traveling? You know?
Yeah,
fucking
I have to say, like
cool.
that was like an attention grabber for sure. Like I think that was like the right call starting off with that. It then led into Dirt 5.
Woo!
Yay, yay, Dirt. We're on Dirt 5
Hey,
now.
whoa! It's got Nolan North and that other guy.
Wait, does it?
Yeah, they made like a
I
whole.
don't care.
I'm pretty sure that was like their whole segment in Dirt 5, right? Was it there or was it another game? Let me check.
I don't remember.
Keep going. I'm checking.
Okay. We also got right after that, Scorn. It's this veiny looking horror game, I'm assuming. There's like a dried flesh and blood aesthetic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looked like a vague cross between like something like alien and Lovecraftian. And I always hate to go there, but it was just too veiny to
Yeah,
not be Lovecraftian. And
it kind of reminded me of Doom.
yeah, I'm like it. So
More veins though.
I like really love like anything horror-esque, so it had my attention, but I know absolutely nothing about it. I can just tell you that it looked like a xenomorph was going to come out at any second.
For real.
Right after that, they showed Chorus. I want to assume
Oh, is this?
it was styled chores.
This
or
this
chores.
is this is the game made by Churches, right?
Oh, is it?
No,
I believe so.
that was a joke. 'Cause
Bruh. Got him.
It's like- anyway.
hook, line, and sinker. Am I right?
Chores.
Yeah, there isn't too much to say about this game. It's just like it looks like you're mostly gonna be playing from like a spaceship, just like I again, I don't know how much of it was gameplay and how much of it was just what they wanted to show us, but I do know that you do fly a spaceship, you get off at some point, and yeah, that's chores.
Common theme in
after-
throughout this entire show. I'm not sure if that's gameplay, but
Yeah, this entire segment could be wrapped up with. Not sure if that's gameplay,
is
but
that
it's okay. Yeah.
yeah, it was Dirt 5. Nolan North and Troy Baker.
Troy Baker.
Yeah,
Cool.
cool.
I will take Nolan North and Troy Baker in the
Dirt
Dirt 5
Yeah.
trailer. Yeah.
Maybe-
I still won't buy it though. I'll tell you that. But
fun.
good to know.
I mean, I'm not particularly against racing games. It has been a very, very long while since I've ever seen anything that made me want to go like, okay. But yeah, Dirt 5 is not the one to, or was not the one to bring me off that position. Right after Chorus, we went into football 2021. Right?
That
It's
is
the one, dude.
It's football.
Football.
I
Football.
I get it. You got to bring in the sports guys to doing the sports talk, and then they're like, "Hey, the Madden's happening." I kind of wish they would just show the game though. It's like
Yeah,
one of
I
the
mean they have to.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like one of the only games that like consistently does that. You know?
Yeah.
It's just weird.
Yeah, there wasn't much interesting there aside from a little tidbit about you buy it on Xbox One, you get it on the Series X, which is a cool a cool, I guess, offer. But it did come with an asterisk, if I remember when you mentioning.
Yeah. So I'll read it directly off of getting this from The Verge from. I'm so sorry, Keim Gartenberg. I'm gonna commit to Keim. Um, so players must purchase Madden NFL 21 on Xbox One by December 1st, 2020 to be eligible to get a Series X upgrade, and they'll only have until March 31st, 2021 to be able to upgrade their copy. Kind of a weird thing, and that's kind of like a 2013 2012 thing, like when we first made the jump over from PS3 to PS4 and 360 to Xbox One. Like, I remember you could pay, I think it was like $10 to upgrade like Watch Dogs. I think it was like Battlefield and Assassin's Creed. I think. Kind of reminiscent of that. Kind of weird too, because with the whole smart delivery thing, like, is that inside the CD Projekt guys talking and mentioning about Cyberpunk earlier, like that they haven't mentioned a cost of that. So like, is that free or do I also need to? Is it like a timed conversion? You know.
Yeah.
Not even to mention the PS5 backwards compatibility, but that's a whole other conversation. So.
Yeah. Definitely like a lot to expand on there, so we might save that for
Again,
a later episode.
another blanket statement for the next gen conversation.
Right after football, like 21, we got, and I know you had a lot to, or JP had a lot to say about this the last time that we talked about it. Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2. I can't say I have ever heard of this series before. Some do. It looks cool, but like the elephant in the room are those visuals. Like I don't.
Yeah, so this is like, it's a game that I had heard about. I'd heard about Vampire the Masquerade before, but Bloodlines 2, I'd heard because it was like supposed to be this whole thing where you are like. Pretty much the cyberpunk thing, right? Like, you can make your own vampire and do a bunch of crazy shit and run around and, like, I don't know, suck people off or whatever it is that vampires do. But like, yeah, that's pretty much the extent. I remember this was a trailer in like one of the E3s or GDC. Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know, someone out there. But I remember seeing the trailer the first time when it was first announced, and then there was like a big hullabaloo where they flew out a bunch of people, or like press, I think it was, to go play it, and people had some pretty. I don't even remember if that was like a rumor or anything, but it was supposed to be this big thing where you like customize your character, you go out and you do whatever the hell it is you want. It's a really like it's like a choice driven game. It sounds cool on paper. It looks fucking weird. It looks like a game that would have come out in like PS3 launch.
Yeah, and I do have to say, like, I don't mind, or I didn't mind the tone of the trailer. I think it caught my attention, just it being weird and gory, and I kind of go for that. So like, caught my eye. I did actually too hear that it was like supposed to, or it was revealed way long ago.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know the exact year, but yeah, it's definitely wasn't like a first time reveal. Like, it's been, in the oven for quite a while.
Yeah.
So right after that, we got Call of the Sea. Again, just another trailer. It looks like a walking or a swimming sim. Something like Ether 1 or Everybody's Gone to the Rapture. Could be more, but there wasn't much to go off of there. The Ascent, a cyberpunk twin stick shooter. Boo.
Actual Whiplash. I thought we were getting Prey 2 off of that announcement. So weird. I'm down because it looks cool as hell, but that trailer was so I don't want to say misleading because that's kind of like aggressive, but like, Jesus.
Yeah, there was a consistent theme throughout this entire presentation. Like, a lot of the games were very like dark, grungy, cyberpunk, or like horror or creepy looking.
Yeah.
So this sort of fell into the crowd with me. I didn't really pay too much attention to it. Looking back at it as one full presentation, but I mean, if you're into that, or if you want Prey 2, thank this game for sticking that back into your head.
Yeah.
After that, I am interested in this one though. They did show a game called The Medium. It was confirmed to be a psychological horror game. They are going to be working with a composer from the Silent Hill series, which I'm like already down for just on that alone. And it looks really interesting to me. No gameplay, but the trailer sold me, and you really can't go wrong with a composer from um, a franchise that is touted to be one of the scariest to ever. Mm-hmm.
Akira Yamaoka. Not only is he like very famous for the Silent Hill series, if I remember correctly, he's actually a composer for quite a bit of my personal favorite games. Like I remember correctly, Lollipop Chainsaw back in 2012.
Wow.
Oh, really?
God.
And what's it called? And No More Heroes 2. So I have heard his stuff and I like it. So it's really, especially as someone who's played like all of Silent Hills, I can't wait to see like how he'll be able to create ambience with his music. It's gonna be very interesting.
Lollipop Chainsaw. I did not think I was going to.
Yeah. Seriously.
I should have researched more, but I did not think I was going to hear Lollipop Chainsaw.
Someone out there is like just. Ugh.
I love Lollipop Chainsaw.
Lollipop
Kind of a
Chainsaw.
banger OST. Y'all should listen to it. It's kind of a banger.
Will do.
But yeah, moving on to Scarlet Nexus. Now this one.
Oh. Oh man, I'm down.
This one is beautiful.
I'm down. Switch the dub though. You know what I mean? Like I'm not really about that, but like, I'm down.
Yeah, all I wrote here was Bandai Namco presents anime brawler.
And that's all it needs to be. You know? That's all it needs to be.
Again, it's like DMC, like Devil May Cry, but just somehow more anime. Like I was just like getting that feel.
Right after, did anybody else want to say anything about Scarlet Nexus? Because it was kind of a...
Day one purchase. Absolutely.
Wow.
Really?
Wow.
Day one.
Listen,
Okay.
He said frame one.
Why don't you buy Code Vein?
Yeah. Because that's a From game, right? From Software made that, right?
I believe so. I don't know.
Code Vein. I'm
Hold
looking
on, go ahead and switch that up.
I'd have to look that up.
I'm looking up.
Code Vein is a Bandai Namco game, sir.
Yeah, but it was made in conjunction with From, wasn't it? Or am I like not at all?
I don't believe so.
Yeah,
No, I'm stupid. Wow, I don't know. I actually don't know. I think most of it looks like I like the character creator, but I think it reminds me too much of Dark Souls, like anime Dark Souls, and that really like, nah, I'm good.
No.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm good.
Said nah.
I've seen the streams for Code Vein 2 is the thing, and like most of that reminds me a lot of Dark Souls 2. I'm not doing that. Like I just want to like fly around and be like a hardcore badass and like, I don't know, stick my katana in someone. I don't want to be like rolling around and I don't know, thinking about frames, and I'm not a fucking dweeb. I don't want to like pull up my calculator and Estus flask or whatever it is you freaks do.
it looks cute.
It's not like that. I'm joking. I don't have anything against people who play Dark Souls.
I'm so far detached from like anything that looks remotely anime that I just it's like in one ear out the other situation. It looks fine. I probably won't play it, but I mean, there's definitely a lot of polish to it, so people are gonna be happy with it. Right after that, they showed, and this is I don't know where this came from. Second Extinction, a co-op dino shooter.
Yo, I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of hyped on that one.
Bring back Dino Crisis, you cowards.
Turok, bro. Where's Turok?
So as someone who would play a lot of, I had a friend, right? Now I have a childhood friend that really loved Jurassic Park, and whenever we would go to like the arcades or like Peter Piper's or whatever, we would go to the Jurassic Park
Dude,
shooters
yes,
that you see around here and there,
yes.
and we would just like beat all of it every time we would go by. And games like that, and like Carnivore. I don't know if y'all have heard of Carnivores, or it's basically like it's a dino hunting game basically. And
It sounds familiar.
and then I saw this, and this basically has like what like see like an Apex Call of Duty like mechanic with the shooter combined with dinosaurs. I don't know. It kind of hyped me up.
Yeah, like I don't hate it. I just wasn't expecting it, but like there's really not much more to it. You play with your friends, you shoot dinosaurs, period.
Yeah.
So I mean, it could be fun.
Kill
We'll
them
have to
all.
see. This might please some people. There is another Yakuza game, like a Dragon.
Hell
I know nothing
yes.
about Yakuza, so I have like nothing to comment.
This
But if
is
anybody is,
this is it, man. I mean, I'm kind of bummed that Kiryu's gone, right? I mean, for those of you who play Yakuza, but like the main character is
I feel
different.
you.
Um, I'm also kind of excited that they're changing the combat system. Don't get me wrong, I'm down for real time, and that's really cool. And I'm obviously sad to see it go. But they've made it like they made it really public that if this doesn't work out, they're gonna go straight back to the real time combat. But
Day one purchase.
yeah, absolutely. Day zero purchase.
What
Yeah,
pre-order?
Yeah, I mean, from like what I've seen, like, because I've seen some like gameplay and I've seen some like summonings. This game, not only looks fun, not only is the main character look like he's an enjoyable main character, they do call back to the main Yakuza series with a lot of the summonings, and like I feel like because I personally love turn-based combat. So with all these new changes, I'm actually pretty hyped for it. Yep, day. You know what? I'm pre-ordering it right now. Right now.
well, there you go. The Yakuza fan base seems to be pretty pleased with what was shown. And the very last thing, oh baby,
Oh, the big
some
gameplay banger.
well, for some people, not me, but Assassin's Creed Valhalla. So we hadn't seen much of this prior to the presentation, had we? I like maybe stills, right? Or
No, they did the announcement trailer thing with the Marvel guy, Boss Logic, the artist. They did a stream where I think it was like 16 hours of him just like drawing, and then it culminated in like a poster that showed off the main character and the title that was like it was the title treatment. It was like Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and then it had like the assassin guy. I forget his name. And then we got a trailer I think the day after, but that's about it.
I mean, Vikings and all that. It looks pretty, I have to say. Like I haven't been totally interested in an Assassin's Creed game since I want to say Black Flag. So at the very least, I am into the setting. It looks gorgeous, to say the least. But this, I think, is where everybody sort of this crossed the line for a lot of people.
That's it. No,
how much gameplay did they show?
so the majority of it was like cutscenes. I think there was like a 3, if I'm being generous, probably for like 5-second section of him like running around and like getting in a boat, I think. If we want to call that gameplay, sure. But gameplay to me, when someone says, "Hey, we're showing you gameplay," that to me is like someone on the sticks, and that's like the HUD showing up,
Right.
the like ugly tidbits of the UI and all that like popping up, and someone's like playing, like we're watching them, right? Even if it's something like, we'll get to that later, but like how they announced Valorant and Rainbow Six, like even if it's that weird thing where they do like the quote unquote like the fake gameplay where they're just like playing. I mean, it's still gameplay, right? It's just weird.
Or just like the outfit stuff. Like,
Right, yeah. So that to me is gameplay. it's a little, and I think like the bigger issue with this whole thing, we'll get into it right when we like wrap it up. But like for me, the bigger kind of issue with this whole thing was like everything had the expected. This is the expected performance. This is in engine, and it's like, oh, okay. I kind of like I get the feeling that I did. I got the feeling that I did watching this than I do like when I'm watching a Ubisoft trailer. So, I don't know. It's weird. And like it was really reminiscent of like, I don't know, the Division trailer, the reveal, Watch Dogs. Like that's kind of how I feel when you put something like that on your trailers. It's just not like it's I don't want to say disingenuous, but it's almost misleading almost.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, they have. I'm not a big Assassin's Creed person, but they have a pretty good track record so far in terms of actual like reception,
Yeah.
right? Didn't Odyssey do pretty well? And people like respond positively to that. I didn't play it, so I wouldn't know. But so I don't have any doubts this game is gonna um be fine, be good even. But and they already admitted to this. The entire concept of oh, we're gonna show you gameplay was a complete blunder on their end. So
Yep.
yeah, that about wraps it up for the Inside Xbox presentation. Um, closing notes. I mean, there was something to watch at least when we had Sony's a couple months back. They gave us numbers for 40 minutes and then left. So I'm glad that we're starting to see a little bit of what we can expect come release time for these consoles. So
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not mad overall. I mean, there's a few things that were in here that like caught my attention, and I may or may not look forward to playing. So I'm not totally upset, but yeah, I'm ready for gameplay at this point.
Yeah. So, real quick, Aaron Greenberg, the guy who was actually on stream, I forget if he's like Xbox Studios director or something like that. I forget his particular like position. General manager for Xbox Games Marketing. He actually put out a statement right after the show saying, had we not said anything and just shown May inside Xbox show like we did last month, I suspect reactions might have been different. Clearly we set some wrong expectations, and that's on us. We appreciate all the feedback and can assure you we will take it all in and learn as a team. That was kind of his response to all the criticisms coming at him, which isn't something that you see normally. So I appreciate the response. Like, period. That's really nice.
For sure. And like I said, I'm not like upset at what was showed. It was a competent. It was a fine presentation. So
I mean, at least it was fun to watch.
Yeah, and they like there was like that whole section where they were talking to like developers at the end and getting more insight. And
Yeah.
Cool. So going into our main talk, I didn't really think of a segue for this. I sort of just want to get us right into it. I want to talk about Riot. This 2020 is their year, to say the least, right? I mean, we saw the I think most of us saw the League of Legends 10th anniversary, or was it 10th anniversary?
Mm-hmm.
That whole thing they did where they started revealing projects they were working on, that Riot Forge thing where people are going to be able to come on and like start making their own stuff for the League of Legends universe. They had so much planned, so much already in beta, and then stuff that's like just being released. So what do you guys how do you guys feel about all this?
I mean, we're well into the year of Riot.
May.
I know, yeah. It's only May, right? TFT was really fun for me. I played the shit out of TFT when it had first come out on the regular League client. I haven't really touched the mobile game or the mobile version. I'm sure it's more or less the same, just translated over. Um, Valorant is kind of a weird one for me. I historically really dislike those like CS:GO type games. They just fly over my head. Like I can't. I don't know if it's like I can't wrap my head around the like economy system or it's kind of like the Rainbow Six thing, right? Like
Yeah.
it's like so granular and so like
Is it too strategic for you?
yeah, I don't know.
Well,
Like
I
I want to run and gun and stuff, and the fact that you just have to sit there and then shoot things and it's just I don't like that. I don't like that.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
it probably comes down to the time to kill. Um, it's non-existent in games like that. You die immediately in CS:GO, and it looks like I haven't played Valorant, but it looks like you die incredibly fast in that game as well.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
you die super fast.
for sure.
It's just like the
What,
game
like
the way.
a hardcore search and destroy or what?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
So think of a more like convoluted I guess like for Juan, my co-host Juan here, who's not really caught up on Valorant. Think about it. I'm gonna put it like into perspective. Think about it as a very like convoluted Rainbow Six match. So you have to go and plant the bombs, right? You have two sides. You have side A, side B. Um, a lot of the game is just holding corners. Like you, the way the game works is you don't really play aggressive because a lot of the maps, especially in Valorant, are very like we call it like CT oriented, which is counter terrorist. Basically, it's usually people who have the time to set up and are on defense have a better time than those attacking because you know because they're defending. So of course they have the better advantage points and stuff like that. Um, so it's a game where you die really fast, but you can also outplay your opponent heavily. Like it's literally just a complete game of can you hold the corner or are you going to lose to the push? And especially with the fact that they're adding abilities, because like in regular Counter Strike, all they have are like Molotovs, flashbangs, grenades, like those pretty simple things, pretty straightforward, like tools to kind of like push like a point or kind of like hold a point. Because they have like abilities, like some one character has an ability where he throws an arrow, kind of pinpoints where they're where the other characters are like in the area. um a lot of characters have like trip mines where if you're walking through a corner and you trip the mine, it holds you in place, and if you don't destroy them, the trip mine itself, it'll like damage you, but it also reveals like while you're held there, it also reveals your point to the enemies. So um, the game is very, very dependent on how you can retain information. Like if you saw that he is pushing B long, you have to communicate that to your team. Hey, there's two people B long. Be careful. They seem to be making a push for B, and then you have to just it's a very team oriented game, and
No,
like I
yeah.
said, you can just get one tapped. Like it's just like Siege. You literally just get one tapped if
No,
you aren't
Hate that.
careful.
Hate that so
I
much.
actually I got some, I talked to some friends that played Valorant, and I really wanted to get into it. The only thing stopping me was fucking school, dude. I had too much schoolwork.
It's over, baby. Now you can just come and play.
Hell
So
yeah.
now that I had a week to rest before I get into my summer class, um I have it downloaded. It's just that I haven't gotten into it because I don't want to get into it, and then like I distracts me during my summer class, which is supposed to be my final one
That
before
actually
I
brings
graduate.
up
So
Yeah, that actually brings up a good point. If I remember correctly, the beta is actually ending real soon. I think the last day for the beta is the 28th of May. And they're actually going to release the game fully in its entirety on June 2nd. I believe we got that in the most recent Riot update for Valorant. and it's going to be interesting. I don't know what this update entails because I don't think the update's kind of quite out in terms of like patch notes and stuff. I do know that they're releasing a new operator, a new character. It's gonna be really interesting. But yeah, personally I think Valorant is gonna be here for quite a while, but I don't know. After playing it for quite a bit, I personally believe that Valorant's gonna get stale pretty fast because um, the more and more I play, the more and more I realize that if you don't have certain characters on your team, then you are at a very big disadvantage. Like if you don't have that Sage, which is like the healer on your team, she's able to create like AoE slows and build up walls and like heal people and resurrect people. Like you are in for a bad time because she is like game changing. She is a game changing operator. But if you have someone like let's see, like if you have someone like you can do without like a he's like the Reaper clone. His name is I'm always forget his name, but without him, like you can have a functioning team without him. But I realize the more and more you climb up the ranks like ladder, the more and more that like Sage becomes such a power pick, and that's what I'm afraid of. That it's gonna get to a point eventually where they're gonna release operators that are necessary to the team, and kind of like devalue other characters, and that's gonna be an issue. However, I guess we just have to wait and see. Like I said, they're barely going to release the game now. They're actually getting very serious about it. They used a lot of the information from this beta playing and this beta test to go ahead and make improvements to the game. And yeah, overall,
Go by way
I
of,
just
of
wonder where it's going to go.
go by way of Overwatch.
That's what I'm hoping doesn't happen.
Just release like triple counters to characters.
Did you guys hear that people were already becoming pro players and the game wasn't even out yet?
Yeah,
Bruh.
yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I think, well, that just speaks to the amount of faith that people like have placed in the Riot. League of Legends has persisted for this long, and if they commit the same amount of energy to that, I mean, everything that they're working on, then Valorant's going to be around for a while. So I get it, but that's just like insane to me. Like, I'm a pro Valorant player. I haven't played it. I'm a pro Valorant player.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, the thing too is like Riot has really deep pockets, but they also have the pedigree of like 10 years of building an entire esports scene. One of the most, like arguably one of the most popular esports scenes outside of something like CS:GO, probably Fortnite more recently. So I don't know, like they have the chops to do it. So
Yeah.
wouldn't be surprised if like 5 years from now, Valorant's like, making like 3 trillion with like, 3 million views concurrently or whatever it might be.
For sure.
'Cause
I wanted.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say like, for me, as a viewer, like watching professional CS:GO is cool. There's a lot going on there. But again, I'm 13 years old, so lots of flashy shit on the screen, and I'm like, oh, that dude has like his hands on fire. So I don't know. It's just and like that kind of ability based combat is a lot more like agreeable with me. I don't know. There's something about the class based shooter that really vibes with me. So like where I didn't find, and that's kind of something too, where I didn't find myself with like CS:GO or Rainbow Six, right? Rainbow Six almost got there to scratch the itch, but I think Valorant might get somewhere with me. I played like 2 or 3 games recently, and it was actually really fun. So I don't know, something about those class-based shooters, man. They're fun.
Yeah. There's just an attract. Well, because I mean, you don't feel like you're playing, Army Guy 1.
Yeah.
Like, people like personality,
Yeah.
and I think they may have taken notes from Overwatch. I mean, that's not totally fair to say. They've been building a universe with League since before Overwatch ever existed. So,
Didn't
but yeah,
they?
people just latch onto that stuff are really hard.
Didn't they steal someone from Blizzard to work on Valorant?
Did they really?
I could totally be talking out my ass, and I think I'm confusing that with Rod Ferguson, who just got poached over from Coalition to Blizzard. That's totally unrelated, though. I'm gonna look it up.
What I will say is that I'm not too sure if y'all are like really caught up with the Overwatch scene because I'm not. However, there is one player that always stood out to me, and that was Sinatra. You know, because I know that Beth earlier had brought up like these pro players coming into like Valorant, even though the game hasn't been released. Well, the best player, like arguably the best player in Overwatch, Sinatra, actually was one of those players that actually moved to another team to play, professional, Valorant, which is pretty damning because
Yeah,
if I remember correctly, there are other professional Overwatch players who are definitely like moving over as well, and that is actually really bad because like Sinatra is like a really big like face in the Overwatch league. He may not be the big face, but that's like a big personality that you had like move over, like completely just announce like publicly that he's dropping Overwatch to go play another game. That's I'm not too sure, what how
yeah.
you feel. That's big. That's huge.
I mean, one thing we didn't really address yet, the you know um, prize pools that Riot consistently has for these league tournaments. There's a reason that people are playing this game competitively because you can make like as a pro player you can.
Stupid amounts of money.
Yeah, so I that's a fair assumption that I don't know how much Riot has spoken about the competitive future of Valorant, but if League is any example, then like prize pools are going to be just fine. So that thinking about it in that respect, I totally get it. And yeah, I they're gonna have no issue like getting people to migrate over if they keep up the support that they have been doing with League. I did want to talk about TFT for a bit. It's was sort of the first instance of Riot branching out um, from mainly just League to like TFT was sort of the what's the word for it? I guess the catalyst for what would eventually be all of these different projects. TFT is interesting because you can actually just play it straight from the client. It's not super like demanding in terms of what it needs from you to play, but it's just so it 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 has everything I think an auto chess game needs to just really um, give positive feedback to the person playing. It's a lot of fun.
You think it has legs?
Yeah, well, I mean, they're already doing tournaments for it, right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
I don't know.
I think like,
I feel like it's gonna get cannibalized by like Legends of Runeterra
well,
if it hasn't
that's
already, right?
well, well, it did. That's what happened to
Yeah,
me.
same.
I was playing TFT almost every day, and then Runeterra came out, and then I'm one person. I don't have time for all of these games, but I think what matters to Riot more is that we're still playing within their like family of games. I think as long as they have
Mhm.
us somewhere, they're happy because and they're looking to do that on all fronts. It's starting with just the esports scene, but any of the Riot Forge stuff, the anime that's coming out later this year, um, what was that? What was that Blitzcrank game? Like what was that?
The Poro Blitzcrank game. I kind of forget. I don't know the name of it, or I don't know
Yeah,
like the full name of it, but I know what you're talking about. It's the one where it was like you run around and you like hook Poros right to save them.
yeah. Like I have no idea what that was, but that can't be any sport.
That's
That's
you
probably
don't
just gonna
know.
be like a.
Poro herding is the hardest esport out there.
Yeah.
That's one
No.
of the other Riot Forge games.
Oh, okay, okay. So it's okay. All right,
Yeah.
Yeah.
all right.
I have to
That's what I was wondering.
agree. No, I have to agree. Um, I don't. I never thought TFT was in it competitive in the first place, and honestly, I thought Riot knew that as well because um auto battlers came out like with like auto chess with Dota, and people were into it, but like no one was like getting competitive with it. If you know what I mean? Like there were some tournaments. Like I remember correctly, there was some like tournaments like self-made tournaments of like when TFT first started. But like ever since then, like TFT's just always gonna be there. Like it's just the game you play to like kind of de-stress yourself. That's at least what I do when I'm.
Yeah, yeah. I would place it on like the B team of in terms of like competitive viability, I definitely think they're gonna like go full force with Valorant and maybe Legends of Runeterra. I mean, the game is still baby. It's only been out for a month out of beta almost. Um, but right now, I think League and Valorant are the two that are going to be spearheading um, Riot's competitive efforts. But there is a community like brewing in the TFT side. Like definitely, like there's a meta. There's um, all of that. It's the things that are naturally form for a game where the goal is to be the best person of everyone playing. So um,
Yeah.
I like
Um,
it. I just man, the lore took me. But anyway.
Yeah, I do want to touch on like lore in TFT, because you did say that it's creating a fan base. Well, I feel like the fan base is only going to grow because how accessible it is. I mean, those are the first two like mobile games that Riot put out. Like they're accessible to everyone, and
Right.
Man, you
like
fucking wait
from
until Wild Rift comes out.
yeah,
Oh
and
my
like I
god.
was
Yeah,
seeing
Wild Rift is coming out and
yeah,
oof,
yeah.
everything.
So they're making it really accessible. Like if I remember correctly, like for like Android, it's gonna be like on like the I'm not too sure about the Android like OS, but like for example, iPhone, I think like the iPhone 6 is gonna be able to run Wild Rift. Like that's how optimized it's getting.
Yeah.
Like they're
Mhm.
they're like reaching like out there. Like they're
Good
making it
luck.
accessible to a lot of players. And I think that the reason they're doing that is because of how successful TFT and lore did on release. Like because like lore and TFT are very fun games, but like the question is like was Riot ever gonna put like the main game into like any other like platform? And like while the that that port is going to be not only on mobile but consoles as well. So I could just imagine how many people who are going to like flock to like League of Legends after all this is like said and done and released. So it's definitely something to be something to look out for. And it's um I'm just going to say this, have you ever been in the deep? It's pretty scary down there.
God
Yes.
help you.
I can say that I've been there many a time. Um I know literally nothing but Legends of Runeterra right now, and it's probably gonna stay that way for a long while. Um I'm in love with this game. The cynic in me always wants to hate the game that I devoted the most time to, the Overwatch syndrome, but I can't. I mean, there are some really busted like, oh my god. There's a card right now. So there's already a meta in lore. There's a card right now that it's called Unyielding Burst. It's Unyielding Spirit. It's a burst spell. It basically means you can activate it almost whenever you want. You give your card, it's not even a keyword. So okay, so a thing in card games is there's keywords, right? Like they're like mechanics or ways in which the cards interact with other cards or with enemy cards or just um, traits that cards have that determine how they um, their style, their strategy in the game. This doesn't have a strategy. Unyielding Spirit literally it says grant a unit I cannot, quote unquote, I cannot die or take damage. It's so stupid. So you can literally make a card indestructible and do nothing about it. And you guys don't know, but Fiora, um, if she hits you 4 times and survives, she win. They win. That person wins the game. Like that's not. It's not like get the Nexus down to 0 health. It's just if I kill four enemies, 4 units, 4 times and survive, you just win the game. She takes your Nexus out. And so I've seen tons of people doing this thing where they give Unyielding Spirit to Fiora
Ugh.
uh and she just can't die. And so she just kills 4 guys and then your game's over. So it's like, okay. Like the entire subreddit is just people complaining about Unyielding Spirit right now and just it's out of control. And the game's early. So I don't think Unyielding Spirit's gonna stay around like for a really long time. But that said, I mean, I came from Hearthstone. Hearthstone still has its fair share of just busted classes and just really dumb um, deck metas. So it's nothing new. It's it's kind of out of control right now where I am. In Platinum, all you see is either that or um, this burn aggro that just basically attacks your Nexus every opportunity it gets, and you have no chance to respond. Um, I've been having a lot of fun, but I did want to ask you guys because I almost forgot. I did want to ask JP and Nate. You guys have been playing League forever, and you
Unfortunately.
yeah, and you mentioned Wild Rift earlier. I wanted to like, are you going to play Wild Rift because you have to start from scratch. Like you don't get anything from PC League. You're basically starting over from the beginning with nothing. Is that like, you guys already have a way to play League in its, best format. So I'm just wondering if this is going to do anything for you.
Nate.
Oh, I'm not really too sure. I remember back when Wild Rift was first announced. I know that we did have a conversation that between our fan group that now that League was coming to a console, you guys are going to get into it, and so maybe at that time, if you had asked me, then I said sure because I like League. Unfortunately, I like League, um, and I want to have fun with you guys. So just because it was accessible, it's accessible to all of us I was like, okay, sure, I don't mind restarting again, on console, since I can play with you guys. However, now that you guys have played League, like you guys have your own League accounts on
Yeah.
PC, and now that I have a PC to play League comfortably, I'm gonna have to say, it really depends. If like a group of friends of mine want to play, sure, I'll make the account. Am I gonna stick to it and grind it out like my current League profile? Absolutely not. I don't think that someone who's been established, you know, personally, like someone who's been established in like PC League and has really no reason to move over is going to play Wild Rift. But maybe I'll play a couple games or two depending on who in my friends list who doesn't play PC League wants to play it.
Yeah, I think that when that conversation happened, it was me actually. I can play League, like without issue. But I don't have a PC. I use a Mac, and like that joke writes itself. But in terms of like gaming availability, I didn't really know. I can play League on my Mac, and it runs fine. I ended up caving and just seeing if I could. And I can, and we have been playing League. And now that I actually have a little bit of time into the core League experience, I'm kind of wondering if I'm going to bother playing it as well. Um, I would like a way to play League on my console. Um,
Yeah.
I've come to not really care about screen size after spending a lot of time with um, core League, but it would be nice to just like be in bed and like have a controller in my hand and just like, because I think Wild Rift is designed to be like a little more bite size
Yeah.
game wise. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's I'm kind of like with Nate on that. But like I'll for sure try it when it comes out. I don't know that I'll commit to it. Um, if I remember right, it has like some crazy like character, like a 3D character model viewer or something like that. I remember them like showing it off and talking about it, and that's going to be like exclusive to Wild Rift. So again, since I'm 13 years old and I like shiny things, probably going to buy a few skins just to see them like on that character viewer. I really hope that they bring it over to base league. That would be cool. And they also mentioned, I remember them kind of mentioning that abilities would also be changed just because of the nature of like playing on a mobile device and on a controller. So if anything, I'll play it to check out what exactly is different from like the characters that I play, right? If anything, like that's going to be interesting to see. I'm interested to see like what exactly the differentiator, right? Like I imagine probably most of the skill shot abilities, the abilities that you have to manually like aim and point and click with your mouse. I'm curious to see
Yeah,
if those are changed.
It looks better.
Yeah.
Like a lot, like though I like the Wild Rift models that were shown look way better than the
Insane.
ones
Yeah.
in
So
core. Like,
fucking good.
I mean, they rebuilt the game from the ground up. So I get it, but wow, like if they could just put those models
Mm-hmm.
into and just move them over into the one that everybody's playing
Fuck
right
yeah, dude.
now,
Yeah.
that'd be great.
Yeah, but I mean, again, yeah, kind of what Nate said. I'm not gonna invest myself, but I'm absolutely gonna try it out and see kind of
I
what
don't know,
it's about.
Juan. Since you don't play PC League
Yeah.
and it's going to be accessible on a console, what are you?
Yeah.
What are your
Are you
thoughts?
gonna play?
Are you going to try it out?
Yeah, so the other day I was watching y'all play League, and JP was doing a pretty good job. Oh well, yeah, you too.
Oh,
On explaining everything that was going on.
thanks, man.
Because I'd never even watched League before. I can explain to you how to speed run SM64 from head to toe, but I don't know anything, right?
Yeah, backwards
But
long jump.
and honestly, it looks fun. I can see why people put their lives and shit into these games, because it's a good mix of strategy and just clicking buttons. So since it's coming to console, and plus with you guys, of course, yeah, I'll dip my I was gonna say dip my toes. I'll put my arms and legs in there.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
I'll just say this: if we gave Genesis, okay, a lot of you probably don't know, but there was a very, very, very short-lived MOBA that released on, for sure PS4. I don't know where else, but a MOBA called Genesis that came out, and me still in my feelings about Paragon being shut down convinced everyone to play it, and it was incredibly subpar, and that reflected in its fate. It is no longer running. Um,
Wait, they shut that
so
down?
oh
Yes.
yeah,
Oh my
yeah, Genesis is,
god.
yeah. I mentioned it a while back, but
So
yeah,
quick.
Genesis is like, yeah, it's already done. It came out in like August, and the last time I looked into it, they just decided to stop running the game. So I think if we were all able to give that a try, then I mean I have definitely no issues playing Wild Rift on console. Man, I have such a hang up
Paragon.
about no, not Paragon. No, I will spare everybody
Whole
my Paragon.
episode.
I'll spare my Paragon BS. I'm not gonna get into that here. I'll make my own home podcast about Paragon. But no. I'm hung up about the progression on, because I don't even have that much in League. I'm like my account level's like 27, 28, and I already have like some skins and some champions I like, and just like I don't want to get them all over again. But maybe they'll make it easier. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if like do you guys think there'll be like a separate competitive community for Wild Rift, or
Ah,
is
man.
it just gonna be like party?
I don't know.
Like,
I don't know that there'd be any reason to. Like, you're just watching
yeah,
League just in a different format, like a
sure.
simplified format. So I don't know. I don't know that you would have to
Yeah,
do that because it's
it's
just
nice to have.
normal League is just so watchable. I mean, to the people who know what's going on. Yeah, to
Yeah,
the
let's,
people who know what's going on. Yeah.
um,
Real quick, I'm kind of curious on the answers, but so with this Riot Forge stuff, give me like one company that you guys want to see them partner up with to make like a game, a League game, sure.
Hmm.
Beth.
that's a good question. Did not put much thought into that. Well, I'm trying to think of like smaller scale developers that would be willing to, because I don't think you're gonna get like a
No.
like
This
Ubisoft is not gonna be making a Riot
this is a
Forge.
timeline where Riot says we will $10 million. We will just give you. I don't even know. That's probably like a small number, right? $500 million.
Nintendo, give me a Runeterra party.
Oof. Can you imagine?
Some amiibos. Oh my
I
god.
Rabbids Mario League of Legends crossover.
Give me the Tom
Please.
Kench amiibo right now.
I'll just BLJ through everything.
Nate.
I'm actually want platinum games on this like ride
Oof.
because there's a lot of champions. Like for example, like Camille, that would be perfect for like a kind of like like an action game, like some Devil May Cry like battle combat Bayonetta, like just kind of like super fast paced and like with like how big the League universe is. I feel like we can really make a really good game
God,
out of that.
can you imagine playing as Vi in like a platinum game?
Oh,
Bruh. Sorry. Anyway. Juan?
Who would be the developer to? Oh, I'm so sorry.
No. Go ahead. What?
No, go ahead. Oh no, I was gonna quickly ask who would be the developer to like put in a turn-based.
Square.
100.
Yeah.
Square. Okay.
Get the people who did Octopath Traveler.
Square.
Yep.
That'd be interesting.
Juan?
So I don't know. You said third party, and I don't know why Shovel Knight came to mind.
Oh, dude, Yacht Club?
I don't know why they came to
Yeah.
mind.
I'm down.
Yeah.
Do like I don't even know what you would do actually. Who would be your? You could probably do something with like a Poro game or something. They actually did like a small platformer with Poros for one of those the Game Over events. Game Over, I don't know, those like 8-bit, that 8-bit event that they usually do, where they do they have like video game based skins. So you have like wow, why am I blanking on that line of skins names? The RA one.
The arcade.
Arcade, there you go. Yeah, the arcade event. They actually made it was a Blitzcrank actually. Oh my god, it's full circle, dude. It was a Blitzcrank mini game. It was a browser game, I think, where you just wrangle Poros.
Yeah, we talked about that earlier, brother.
Yeah. I think.
I just want to.
Sorry, go ahead.
I just want to say York has a shovel, so.
Your DLC for Shovel Knight. So I think for me, man, I don't know, there's so many people. I'd love to see. She mentioned it as a joke, but I honestly like to see Ubisoft take a crack at like an open world League game.
Okay.
Maybe like they have like a really nice Nate, you'd probably know more about this since you were on that animation grind, but isn't like Rise, doesn't he go around like collecting like artifacts or something?
So, yes, like Rise's backstory is that like there are like these things called world runes that like are like super powerful like magic like artifacts, and put into the wrong hands that can basically kind of like someone could take over the world with just one of them, right? And so Rise kind of travels around the world, interacting with different champions.
Easy money.
And kind of going in and just making sure that those world runes he kind of collects them and keeps them somewhere safe. That way, no one can abuse their power. I
Easy fucking money.
would actually be really fucking hyped.
That
for
shit writes itself. Nathan Rodriguez, everybody. What's your Twitter so that Riot can come in?
It's at Byleth, bro.
There you go. Yeah, that would be honestly, and like, it's so easy to do something like that. I'm sure if it's not already being done, that would be something really easy. That's kind of another thing we actually haven't really talked about is kind of like the lore for League. Like that stuff is just like
it's huge. It's so big.
Yeah,
like when
comics, like the animated series that's coming out now.
Well, with that many characters,
You-
endless possibilities.
You would hope, right?
No, yeah, and like the thing is that Riot Forge. I think like so many good things are gonna come out from Riot Forge because like Riot basically kind of gave all third party like developers, like any like developer, like, hey, we have such a massive fucking like world, like you can just come in and ask what part of the world do you want to work on, and we'll work with you. Like there's just so many like world building like stories out right now, and like there's so many like characters and like environments like Piltover Zahn, the Frail Yord, we got Demacia, Noxus, Shurima, both like the ruins of Shurima and then Shurima back in the past. Like we have like this entire like Acathian like war that happened before anything started. We have like the Void, which is like these creatures trying to take over the world, and then like even the skins, like I don't know if you know this, but like the skins have like are all like multi like different dimensions, like different universes that
Hmm.
exist in the League like world. And like for example, I don't know if you know this, but like the Pulsefire skin line, those are the ones that actually connect all the different skin universes because specifically Pulsefire Ezreal, he like has a lot of comments to say about different skin lines. Like he's been to those universes and he's like interacting with the people. Like not only do Riot have like the world itself, but like the skins that they make and like the stories they make with those skins. Like it's just so like there's just so much to, like pick and choose from this that like I feel like not like like them creating like this like Riot Forge, it's just basically like opening up the door to possibilities. Like if there's one thing that I love from like Riot right now, it's like the League universe. Like the game has its own problems, we'll leave it at that, but like the entire like, universe and lore of it, that shit is just so good. That stuff right there is what like you can tell that Riot really put a lot of thought into its like universe and like into like characters. So like I feel like this is what they were planning to do all along. Like they started with League, and then like they were just dreaming about like pushing it like across the like like the like media itself. Because um like we mentioned, we have the anime series coming out that talks about like Jinx and Vi and like the Piltover. We have Convergence, which is the Echo game coming out, and the Ruined King, which is like the Shadow Isle game with like a mix of the Bilgewater characters coming in. Those, and then we have the fighting game. Oh,
Oh
we even have the fighting game that's
God.
coming out. That
Wait,
like
hold on. Save that for later.
Can we
Save that.
real quick?
Yeah.
How fucking devastating is it going to be when Riot introduces League's Thanos?
Bruh.
I think they already
That's
did.
Like that's it. It's over.
who is that?
I don't know. I don't know that he exists. I'm not a dweeb, and I don't
mean,
fucking
not
read.
that, like, I feel like it is going to be coming like eventually. Like I feel like with like because I hate to admit this, but like I'm really into like the lore of this stuff to the point where I read a lot of the stories and I watch a lot of like YouTube videos for the lore. A shout out to Necrit. Necrit's a really good YouTuber for that.
Here's my theory on why Garfield is the next champion.
Yeah, and yeah, no, but it's like
I
there's just so,
hate
like
Monkey.
there's just so much world. There's like so much world building that eventually I feel like what's gonna happen is there's gonna be an Avengers moment where like all the champions come together to like deal with like a big fucking threat, and that right there is gonna be the Thanos of the entire universe, dude. Like it's coming up, but I feel like we still got a ways to go,
So
and I feel like with all these games, like, because like technically right now, like there are some big threats in the universe. One of them being Mordekaisers. Letting you know, Mordekaiser's like planning to come up and just like take over again. Just letting you know that. But
nice.
like,
Yeah, as you can see, this first episode topic was a no-brainer. two very big league boys on the table, so they okay. I want to talk about because this is probably the thing that has me like the most curious. What is that fighting game? What,
I'll tell you what it is.
when can we see more?
It's they probably what they did is they offered the Blaze Blue guys a good check, and then they locked them in a room for like 3 years.
I mean, I have to agree.
And then they came out and they're like, "Please let us out." We're like, "Sorry, here's more money." Yeah,
Yeah,
looks cool as hell. The little that we saw from that, it was just like Darius slamming the shit out of I think like Ari or Misfortune. I don't remember. I have to see that trailer again. Yeah. Ari, of course it was Ari. It almost looked like that move had kind of like a I don't know. if y'all played Pokken, but like specific moves in Pokken, you'd start out in like the side scrolling fighting format, and then like certain moves would put you in the like Tekken almost like format.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that. Okay.
So
Okay.
it was really cool concept. The game was like really weird. I don't know what the hell that happened to Pokken. Please make a Pokken too. But it kind of like I don't know if it was just because it was like a cinematic move that like happened, because the camera like turns around and does like a crazy angle. So I wonder if almost it has kind of like the same function. So yeah, that it looks cool. I'm glad.
I really hope it's good. I am honestly on board for another fight. Really quick, I play like fighting games almost primarily.
Whoa, no way.
Well, people don't know. So I'm like, this is what sold me on the scope of what they're attempting to do here. If that fighting game, when and whatever it ends up being, comes out and it's really good, I can see myself playing it.
I'm really scared about how they're gonna translate the like abilities over, but that's a separate conversation.
Fiddlestick stands on the other end of the screen and just takes off.
And you just blow up.
Yeah, he fears like he has a special. It's like down forward, like
God.
square or whatever, and he just fears you and you can't get close to him, and then he drains you, and then
Timo's gonna be S tier because he's just gonna be so tiny you just can't hit him.
Yeah. I would need to see
God.
more. I would need to see more of this fighting game in order to get like a real like feel about what is really going on. But like, I mean, they're just going in. Like they announced a shooter. They announced like the games in their own universe. Like and like that, like all different genres too.
Just don't play other
like,
games. Only play Riot Games.
Only play Riot Games.
Do y'all think real quick? Do y'all think that this fighting game like could be at Evo? Like, is it that? You think like they're making that big of a push, or are they gonna do their own league?
If it's not, they're going to throw the Evo guys so much money to make it.
True.
Because,
Money
I
don't know.
can do
Yeah,
this.
probably. I don't know.
It really depends.
Yeah, and the weird thing is like, Lore's been out for 3 months, 2 months, and there's no like word of any kind of esport, like at all, like a tournament or anything, like official.
right? Yeah, well, the dust is settling on it.
Yeah, for sure. I think they're probably gonna wait like another. I'd give it until like probably next year to see if there's like some sort of exhibition or like a tournament qualifier thing. So I imagine they'll probably do the same thing for the fighting game.
I will say this, and this is actually in regards to Valorant as an esport. They have made comments that they're not really going to necessarily make a league out of it. What they're going to do is they're going to do a startup like League of Legends did. And basically how League of Legends started up in the esports scene, at least, was there was a lot of like like small tournaments. So like, you know, people would go and like compete in different tournaments, you know, in different countries. Or I remember that they used to have like this weekly tournaments where a bunch of teams just like form and like kind of play it out. This is a long time ago. Like, this is like very beginning of League, like season 1, 2. And so they kind of mentioned that that's how they want for Valorant to start up again. They want like people to make their own like third party tournaments, and then afterwards they'll create a league after that.
That's cool.
So if Valorant is going to be if Lore is going to have a competitive scene, then people need to start going to these third party like tournaments, like these like they need to go and they show support, and then afterwards Riot will then step in and create the league.
Twitch will probably do
At
something.
least that's what I think, if that's what they're going to do with Valorant, you know?
Yeah, if they don't, Twitch will probably move on like a Code Red tournament or something.
Yeah, I would think. But I mean, we just have to wait and see. I know that with Valorant coming, like finally being released, we're definitely going to be seeing some third party tournaments pop up from here to there. We might see like TwitchCon might have one, might hold one, definitely for sure. Maybe if E3 ever comes back,
rest in peace.
Maybe E3 will hold one. Rest in peace. but we'll see. We'll definitely see. It was very entertaining, from what I understand. Like back in the day when League of Legends was first building its esports competitive scene, so hopefully we'll get the same amount of excitement when Valorant's building itself up.
Man, it was so jank. Like you'd see them with like those foldable plastic tables with like the Party City like table covers. Yeah, that's what it was, man.
Gotta start somewhere.
Yeah, for sure.
True. Yeah.
Yeah, but Riot is definitely making some moves, like just moves not only in the video game scene, but like in the music scene as well. Like I think for the past 2 years, they've made like, have you seen have you seen the opening ceremonies to both 2018 World and 2019 World?
Yeah, the 2019 was with Imagine Dragons, no?
No, 2019. So that's 2014.
Oh.
2014 is when I mean,
Whoops.
you could even like date them back, doing those type of things back to then, because like 2014 they collabed with Imagine Dragons, because Imagine Dragons are big League of Legends fans, and they created.
Wow. Are they?
They create. Yeah, they are. They
Interesting.
they created Warriors, and then they partner up with like was it Zed to make Ignite.
That sounds about
Yeah,
right.
like they made Zed to work with Ignite, and then they've been bringing like other singers like for Legends Never Die and Rise. Like those are like, well, I'm not too sure of those DJs, if I'm gonna be honest with you, but there were still like some known DJs. And then they 2018 hits, right, and we get KDA, which is kind of brings in K-pop.
I don't know that you can like the other songs were really big within the like outside of the community. I'd say like a handful of people were like, oh shit, like they made a song, but like when KDA hit, like that was fucking mainstream. Like that,
Yeah,
there was people talking. I had people like outside of people like that don't play video games. They're like, oh man, did you see this? I'm like, what? Why do you know about this?
I mean, yeah, because
It's in Beat Saber.
Yeah, that's true.
You got artists like Madison Beer, Jara Burns, and then we got like the two members of G Idol, or G Idol, as a member herself, Soyeon and Mion, like that was like a big like twist into like their music career. And then like they kind of followed it up with True Damage, if I'm gonna be honest with you, because what they got like Kiki Palmer on that. They got what's her name? I always forget her name. She's the one who voices Kiana. Is it Becky G? Becky G. And then they also brought back Soyeon from KDA, and then they added like these. I'm not too sure who they are, but like Duckworth and Thutmose. But like, I am very familiar with Kiki Palmer, because like I kind of grew up with Kiki Palmer, and like the Disney Channel, if y'all remember that.
Oh yeah.
She was a lot like there, and I've heard of Becky G, but
Yeah.
the more and more like from what I'm thinking the trend's going to be is the more and more league grows, I feel like the more and more they're going to have access to like other like big name artists. Like when am I going to see Ariana on a league track, dude?
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
That's usually how it works. The more people who attach themselves to a specific thing that are very high profile, it's just going to attract more and more and more, and then soon you're going to see people, from all different places having an involvement in it. So I think they're on their way.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely like the more and more, like I said, the more and more years pass, like the more and more they like dive into like music as well. Like it's going to be like the more and more, like, I mean, have you seen the videos for Giants and KDA? Like those are animated extremely well. Like those are, especially Giants, dude. Giants was such a blast to watch.
Over KDA? No way, bro. No fucking way.
I'm sorry, dude. I'm gonna have to say it, dude. I prefer the Giants over KDA.
Fight.
Whatever, man.
Fight.
I've only heard pop stars, so
Yeah.
Yeah. Where are we at right now?
We're pretty over our time.
Yeah.
Oh boy. So. Yep. We're shooting for an hour, and we've been
We've
for
been up.
122.
Yep.
I mean, that's fine. There was a lot to say here, and I think it's best we get it all out now. I think we covered everything. I mean, we briefly touched on the animated series that's happening, but I mean, we don't know much about it other than the like premise. Um, but I think that's gonna do pretty well. I know, like, pretty excited about it, Nate.
I'm very
Yeah.
excited.
you can,
Didn't notice.
He's just
you can
drooling,
say that. You can say that. He's excited.
drooling at the mouth for more lore. They've been putting out more of those. They just put the ones out for like Akali and Echo and them pretty recently, so I think they're building up pretty steadily to that. It seems pretty cool. As someone who doesn't care about lore.
Well, in a scope, I did want to. Do you guys think, like, where do you think these new people are coming from? Or not new people, but players for each of their respective games are coming from? Do you think it's like a cannibalization, or do you think they're getting, you know, the genre people uh into each game? I mean, I know there's already crossover with.
I mean,
There's a lot of Hearthstone crossovers, so I know that's there. But given that, like, I think the TFT subreddit has like close to 200,000 members, and the Legend of Runeterra subreddit has already 100,000 members, and you can only do that in a game where you have like as big of an install base as Riot does. So I'm just curious to see how many are people coming over and just playing multiple games, or you know, how many people were being sucked away from other shooters, other card games, other um, you know, auto chess.
I think you see it.
In fighting games a little down the line.
I think you see it with the streamers that are playing it. You know, like people like Shroud and Tim the Tatman. Like all those people, I think they're a pretty good example of what's going on, right? Like you're already playing CS:GO. Valorant is pretty much just CS:GO but with abilities. Why not just try it out? You're seeing the same thing with like, I mean, you're a better example, right? Like coming from Hearthstone to Runeterra, right?
Right.
I'm already playing a CCG. Why not try another one? That seems more. The thing too, right, is like these games are way flashier than I don't know. Hearthstone to Legend of Runeterra is kind of arguable. I think it's flashier, but whatever. So it might seem a little bit more like interesting. So that might be a big part of it, but I think it's both. Like when you already have the install base of League, and people are like, "Oh, I've been playing League for like 7 fucking years." And it's like, well, I mean, I don't know. Like Riot Games have so far, right, have the kind of like Blizzard effect where like Blizzard just randomly decides, "Oh, we're just gonna make a class shooter," and it's like the best, and it feels so good, and it's stupid polished for the first year. So I don't know. I feel like Riot's kind of in the same boat. They're like, oh, let's make a shooter, but let's make a damn good shooter that's stupid polished and it's like top of the line, right? Like you can't match that kind of funding. You can't match that kind of the talent, right? I mean, listen, y'all know what I'm trying to say.
yeah.
No, not knocking the other devs out there, but like there's a level of like production value that Riot exclusively has access to because of the not only the capital but the talent that those guys attract. So
I mentioned a little earlier, a little earlier point of mine. Because Riot is making everything really accessible to like other like people, not just PC gamers. Like we have TFT, Legends of Runeterra, on the on phones, and a lot of people, mobile gaming is pretty big. It's been growing big, and it's still really big. Like I feel like because people play like TFT and like Legends of Runeterra. Some people, I'm gonna say like a good chunk of people would kind of sit there and be like, man, who is Miss Fortune? Who is Fiora? Who's Tryndamere? So a lot of Riot's getting some players, especially from people like playing lore on their phones, just trying League of Legends out. Like, what is League of Legends? Where do these characters come from? Where did they originate from? I also think that with esports just getting bigger and bigger and bigger, as time goes on, you know, League of Legends has been here since, like, is like one of the more like veteran like esports. We all started back with StarCraft 2. Even before then, like uh, Quake and stuff like that. Like, because there's an esports scene like even back then, like back for the Quake scene. Um, just the more and more people, people grow, the more and more esports becomes a norm, and more like young kids growing up in this day and age are like, I want to be a professional video game player, and so then a lot of people will try out League. So that's just the way I see it. It's just how accessible everything is to becoming to everyone. I just feel like that's just why Riot is just getting a much more a bigger like fan base and player base, than expected, at least.
Cool. Yeah. That about. I think we exhausted just about everything. From this topic. In closing, we'll see what the rest of this year brings. For Riot Games, I already know they have me. They definitely have y'all. And I think that's only going to get
Worse.
more potent. Worse. I was just saying more potent. I'm trying to be very
Real
not
articulated.
sad about it,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Yeah.
Keep
it's
siphoning my money.
Riot is, and I mean, I think we've only seen something like this with probably Blizzard.
Yeah.
I think they're doing something that only they have been able to do in the past, and they're doing it at such a good time.
Yeah.
They already killed what was it? They killed Heroes of the Storm.
Oof.
Hearthstone is kind of hanging on. Overwatch is gonna get like a really big kick when Overwatch 2 comes out. And
Hey, you
WoW
just wait.
Classic is just there.
League of Legends 2. Right after
League of
Overwatch
Le-
2. It's coming.
wow.
It's coming.
Yeah, no, that'll do it. I want to thank everyone. If you have made it this far to the end with us, I appreciate the hell out of you. You guys have anything to say in closing?
If you stayed until the very end, please,
How did you do
please let me know who you are.
Please.
Also, hit me up on social media, because, like, Jesus Christ.
Oh, yeah. Well, let's go ahead and do that real quick. So, quick round of plugs. Go ahead and plug anything that you have.
Please hit me up on the social media.
On the
So-
Instagram.
So I'll start. My Twitter is at Byleth 3_. My summoner name is Humbai. If you guys want to add me on League, I'm always down to play. I love that game, and I'm probably gonna keep playing it for many years to come. Other than that, that's all you can really find me at. It's been fun, guys. It's a great first episode. I've been having a great time. I hope we can go ahead and make this, do this a lot more often.
Oh, I'm .jpegs on literally everything.
Yeah, he made it very easy for
Yeah,
us.
on brand brand
You gotta spell
cohesion.
it out.
Yeah.
Gotta spell it
Oh,
out.
.jpegs .dotjpegs on literally everything.
You know these people, man. Some of these people, they're gonna put at period
Yeah.
JPEG.
You're gonna find some dude, and he's gonna be like, "What who the fuck are you?" People are gonna be like, "Dude, you're kind of an asshole."
The wrong
Yeah,
guy.
that's not me.
And all I have really is my Twitter. It's at the only Juan01. Ha, yeah, Juan jokes.
I get it. I
Exactly.
get it.
Oh wait, Juan like one?
Hit me. Just add me there as a friend, whatnot. That's pretty much all I have. I don't have a Facebook, and I don't use my Instagram, so
Same.
yeah.
Same.
No, it's fine. I rarely use mine. I'm at Coral Cerise on Twitter. My name is Beth. Thank you all for joining us tonight. And the podcast is now offline. See you guys.
See ya.
Bye
Bye.
bye.